Hello, I'm the Doctor. Welcome to DoctorGeek. Today, with one day to go before episode 7 premieres, let's take a look at everything we know so far about Kerblam. First off, the original synopsis for episode 7, released by the BBC, reads, "Delivery for the Doctor. A mysterious message arrives in a package addressed to the Doctor, leading her, Graham, Yaz, and Ryan to investigate the warehouse moon orbiting Kandaka and the home of the galaxy's largest retailer, Kerblam." Luckily, a pretty long clip from the beginning of the episode was released this week for the Children in Need charity event, and in it, we see the Doctor receiving a package containing a fez from a robot she calls a Kerblam man, and she explains that it's a delivery bot from the biggest retailer in the galaxy, Kerblam. And by the way, the voice of these Kerblam men is played by Broadchurch actor Matthew Gravel, and he's not the only actor from Broadchurch to reunite with Jodie in this episode, but more on that later. After the Doctor finds a message saying "help me" hidden along with her fez, they decide to investigate Kerblam and arrive at its warehouse on Kandaka's moon, also called Kerblam. They decide to go undercover as employees, showing up for their first day at work, and with the help of the psychic paper and the Sonic, they manage to talk their way into the warehouse and get ready to start their training. So, pairing these two things together, we get the idea that there's something fishy going on with the company Kerblam, with at least one person in desperate need of help. And whoever this person is, they know enough about the Doctor to know that sending a fez would be something that she would enjoy. So perhaps this is someone we've seen before. It seems the Doctor and friends will be going undercover to try and find out who sent the distress call and what secrets Kerblam is trying to hide. Also, since Kerblam is pretty obviously a take on Amazon, especially with this slogan here, "Pick it, click it, Kerblam it," I'm pretty sure there will be some anti-capitalism messaging in this episode as well, just in time for Black Friday and the holiday season. The episode is directed by Jennifer Perot, who directed episode 5, The Saranga Conundrum. And since that episode was the only one this series that actually felt to me like a classic, real Doctor Who story, I feel like this episode has a lot of potential to be one of the better ones this series. With that, let's take a look at the two trailers this week.
Delivery for the Doctor.
Something is very wrong here at Kerblam.
So, the Next Time trailer starts with what we've just seen in our first look, with the Kerblam man arriving with a delivery for the Doctor, and then the TARDIS team arriving on the moon of Kandaka to infiltrate the Kerblam warehouse. As we hear the Doctor say, "Something is very wrong here on Kerblam," we see Ryan, Yaz, and a third character walking through a huge empty warehouse. And this third person is the actor Leo Flanagan, playing a character named Charlie Duffy. And he looks to be a sort of janitor or repairman based off of his clothes. Let's keep going.
If anything happens to us, or anyone else here, you'll have me to answer to.
The second half of the trailer is basically just a who's who of the characters in this episode. We first see Yaz doing some investigating by the looks of it, and she's wearing a safety vest, so this is probably a part of whatever job she's just been assigned to in the warehouse. Next up is our second Broadchurch alum in this episode, Julie Hesmondhalgh, playing a character named Judy Maddox, and most likely the villain of this episode. After her, we get a much better shot of Leo Flanagan's character, Charlie, as he does some snooping of his own through some bottles of yellow liquid, most likely helping Ryan and Yaz look for something in the warehouse. And he's followed by another big guest star for the episode, comedian Lee Mack, playing a character named Dan Cooper. Finally, the trailer ends with an image of the Doctor, flanked by Ryan and Yaz in their work uniforms, looking fairly intimidating. And we hear the Doctor say, "If anything happens to us, or anyone else here, you'll have me to answer to." So, quick and to the point, this trailer really nicely introduces us to the problem of the episode and the characters we're faced with. But for a little more substance on the plot, let's turn to trailer 2.
Welcome to Kerblam.
Kerblam's the biggest retailer in this galaxy.
This came to me in a delivery.
Okay, so the second trailer opens much like the first, and fills in the details that it left out. We see the TARDIS materialize on the moon as someone welcomes them to Kerblam. Then, the TARDIS team talking their way into the warehouse, posing as new employees. Finally, we get a close-up look at the plea for help that the Doctor receives. Moving on.
A man is missing, and I don't think he's the first.
Getting to the good parts, we see Lee Mack's character, Dan, running into one of these creepy Kerblam men in a dark room, which only makes them more unsettling, and the robot menacingly cocks its head. As we see Yaz in a similar situation, catching a Kerblam man watching her creepily from afar as she wanders around the warehouse, most likely from the same scene we saw earlier, we hear the Doctor telling someone that a man has gone missing, and she doesn't think he's the first. So, now we know that someone, potentially the person who sent the Doctor that message, is missing, and there's a big possibility that there are many more people missing as well. With a warehouse the size of a moon, I'm sure that there are millions of employees working for this mega corporation. So it's no wonder that something shady could be hiding in plain sight with a corporation as large and powerful as Kerblam.
I might start to suspect that you're responsible.
As the trailer comes to an end, we see Ryan taking down one of the Kerblam men, and as it falls, its head seems to explode. Behind Ryan, we can see Charlie cowering, so it's likely that Ryan has just saved him here from the robot. But the Doctor, Yaz, Graham, and another person are also close by. And this mystery person, if I had to guess, is probably Claudia Jessie, playing a character named Kira Arlo. As the Doctor insinuates that she expects Kerblam is responsible for the disappearing workers, we get another look at Julie Hesmondhalgh's character, Judy, and our first look at her co-worker, Jarvis Slade, played by actor Caleb Dixon. And both of these characters are not looking pleased at what the Doctor is telling them. So, I have to say that I am tentatively enthusiastic about this episode, as the premise at least seems like a classic Doctor Who scenario, and director Jennifer Perot has already proved herself with arguably the most well-rounded episode of the series so far in the Saranga Conundrum. So, this looks like it may have all of the right ingredients necessary for a fun, memorable story. And I do think that Doctor Who does well when they go with robot monsters, as it's worked for the show time after time through every era of Doctor Who's history. In other words, they're a good thing to fall back on when you're in the middle of a series that so far hasn't had a very strong villain. So, what do you think of the trailers for this week's episode? And did you like Jennifer Perot's directing 2 weeks ago in the Saranga Conundrum? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a video. As always, thank you for being my companions on this journey today. I'm the Doctor. Bye for now.